Picture this: 3 library staff members trapped inside the South Charleston Public Library. Aaron, Toby, and Josh, each with divergent tastes, tasked with watching each other's films. Can they survive with their sanity intact? Find out on Real Opposites, a library podcast about movies.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Real Opposites. I'm Aaron.
I'm Josh.
I'm Toby.
And for this episode, we have our director, Todd.
Hello.
And we are back to do our special...
Wrestling?
Wrestling episode.
Another wrestling.
Please don't say physical sports again.
Yeah, I mean...
Please don't
okay. Our wrestling episode where we did Over the Top, which is arm wrestling, and Ready to Rumble, which is professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we'll just go ahead and jump into Ready to Rumble, which was my pick.
Yeah, this is your baby.
Yeah, I'd been wanting to do this one for a while. It'd been a little while since I watched it, but I just remember watching it when I was younger. It came out, 2000?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just thought it was a fun one. I thought it was funny. I like David Arquette, so
Yeah.
he's good in it. That era of David Arquette was just, I don't know. It was just funny times.
Little baby stoner, David Arquette, and
Yeah.
like everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even Ravenous, which we just watched, where he
Yeah.
is in.
But he's
True.
he's really just playing David Arquette.
Where he's in
Yeah.
a western,
Right,
but he's still a
exactly.
pothead somehow.
Yeah.
So like
So,
That peyote.
so yeah, I liked the movie. I was worried a little bit whether I'd still like it because it'd been a while since I watched it, but I will say I still loved it. I laughed a lot. So that's my take on it. I mean, I'll clearly talk more, but I just kind of curious to hear what everyone thought.
Well, I know this was my first time watching it. Does anyone else's?
I mean, I think I'd seen parts of it before. I don't know if I'd ever watched the whole thing.
I've seen it multiple times. So
Okay.
it had been quite a few years since I'd seen it, but I always liked it. It kind of hit a little differently this time.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's where I'm, old or what, but it was neat. It was neat going back and like seeing it. I think it's very well done.
Mm-hmm.
Like they put a lot of money into it. It seems like I was impressed with that, and
Yeah.
but
Yeah, like the cage match at the end is actually really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And so
That's
many,
my
they had
favorite
so
part.
many actual wrestlers.
Yeah.
too. It felt very
Yeah.
like well formed, including apparently John Cena is an extra.
Yeah,
In
I was
one
reading that
scene.
where he's somewhere there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
he has no role, no speaking
He's
part.
in the
Yeah.
background
Part,
at the
but-
gym.
Oh,
Like
okay.
doing stuff at the back.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if you're really into wrestling, this is like
It's great.
big deal. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's like there's so many Diamond Dallas Page, Macho Man.
we should have had more
Yeah.
Macho Man.
Weirdly stiff.
Yeah, they really need more Macho Man.
Yeah.
Was he? He was
He
still
probably was the most costly.
probably. Yeah, probably. Because I
And
mean, he
that's
was
why.
like, wasn't like
He was in the groceries. I mean, the
I know he's in.
store.
I mean, he's in the one scene, but I think like at this point, like Goldberg and a lot of some of these other guys were a little newer
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
on the scene, and
Yeah.
Macho Man was like
Because we also have like Sid Vicious.
wrestling royalty.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, Sid Vicious.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was in it. I was like, man,
Yeah.
I remember watching him.
Yeah. I only remember I got fed a video not too long ago of him breaking his leg and then finishing the match.
Oh yeah,
Like it
I think I've seen
snaps
that.
all the way and he just
a
like
lot of wrestlers,
keeps
yeah,
going.
they do it.
There's a
Yeah.
great 30 for 30 about him too.
Mhm. Oh really?
Oh really?
Yeah,
I'll have to
yeah.
check it. I mean, those 30 for 30 documentaries are good.
That would be
I haven't
fun.
watched one yet, I don't think.
But yeah, there's I love wrestling, which I think everyone in this room does. But like I was so pleased by this whole movie. It was so charming, and I really love it's Jimmy King. It's
Oh, Oliver Platt. Yeah.
Like
the
there's
best part of the
something
movie.
so
Yeah, he
charming
is.
about baby Oliver Platt. Like he does a great job. Like and he's like 40 here, but he's younger than the things I've seen him in. Which he's in The Bear and a couple other things that I've seen as a now.
Yeah.
And so like I don't think I drew the connection of him as a young man to him now as an actor, and I was like, oh, like he's so young here, and he's still playing a has-been. But it was so fun and so heartwarming. I just really love the whole like little road, like their little road trip story, and they're like taking on the man,
Yeah.
and like the fans made wrestling, and
I think Oliver Platt was the best part of the movie as far as like acting goes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought he was well casted, but he did not remind me of a wrestler at all.
no, he's,
Well,
Well, I
he
think
reminds me
he's
of, like,
not supposed to much.
Yeah.
Well, he reminds you like these guys from like another era that they
Mhm.
weren't on steroids and all
Right.
jacked.
Yeah.
Like, they were
Right.
just kind of like big dudes,
Yeah.
you know. And
Like
what's his
Rhodes.
Yeah, Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty
Yeah.
Rhodes.
Like Dusty Rhodes is like morbidly obese, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
the way he moves around is really impressive.
Mhm.
But it's not about like it. You know, you have to like charisma on like stage
Yeah.
presence.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm.
which he definitely has.
Oh yeah, Oliver Platt definitely has. I like that he's not. They didn't cast some obvious, muscle.
Yeah. Well, it
Jack
comes
dude.
into the story and the fact that that's why
He's being pushed out.
he's being pushed out.
Yeah.
He even he like calls him all kinds of fat names.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
stuff like that. And he tells him like, you're not even an athlete. You're just for show.
Yeah. Well, and so I want to mention Joey Pantoliano, Joey
Mhm.
Pants, who's also the
Pants.
other best
He
part
was
of the
like
movie.
the Eric Bischoff character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's terrific. I love
he's
him in
great
anything.
as that.
But
I
that
don't
like
know
with
what
the
else-
long hair and like the
Yeah.
cowboy hat.
Yeah.
And
Um,
horrifically smarmy.
Yeah.
Like you just you want what happens.
He
Like,
seems like the nicest guy probably in real life, but man, he plays like an a-hole like nobody else.
so
Oh, yeah.
well, yeah.
Well cast.
That character was originally cast as Eric Bischoff, but he
Mhm.
got fired from WCW.
Oh, okay.
Like I guess during.
Oh, they were actually
Because-
going to use Eric.
Yeah.
Like the whole movie that I was reading it was kind of it was made to kind of build up WCW because
Yeah.
they were faltering at this
Mhm.
point.
Yeah.
So
Which during the time,
I don't think it helped, but
No. But during the time, David Arquette did actually a few
Yeah.
wrestling in WCW, which that doesn't make sense that Bischoff was already gone because Bischoff gave Arquette the
He
title.
came back. He came back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was after he came
this
back.
is wrestling.
Yeah.
It's like comic books, like they die but then
That's
they
true.
come back.
That's true. But it was a big deal because when Arquette was wrestling, he wasn't a wrestler at the time. He now is a wrestler.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wrestles indies.
There's a great
Huh.
documentary about that.
Yeah, I need
about
to watch
David
that
Arquette
still.
wrestling.
Yeah.
Yes. But at the time he wasn't a wrestler and they let him wrestle to build this movie to just continue the
Yeah.
whole thing and ended up putting the main like the world heavyweight title on him.
Yeah.
Which was very controversial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
time. It was a big like people were upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he wasn't a wrestler. They
not a
just
wrestler.
brought in a movie star at that point
Yeah,
and gave
yeah.
him the title, and it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of neat that he eventually became a wrestler.
That's
he
cool.
wrestles now.
I feel like this was probably so much fun to make. That
Oh,
like
I'm
because I
sure.
feel like wrestling is fun. Like I feel like I know it's like a serious sport like to a certain extent and like it's very athletic, but I feel like it's fun. And I feel like this was probably so fun to make that it would like instill a love of wrestling in anyone involved forever. Like
Yeah, I think it pulls you in.
Oliver
or,
Platt
in my
was
opinion,
having
it
a
does.
great time.
And Martin
I feel
Landau
like,
too.
Yeah, Martin Landau was having
Yeah.
a great
I
time.
loved him.
He
Was
the
he's-
trainer?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the trainer.
You want to wrestle? Like,
Yeah, I love when the two guys are coming to beat him up, and like he's
Yeah,
he-
hiding.
He basically moves like a ninja, like
he like comes
he's
out and he's
invisible.
like, sell something to another. You want to wrestle?
Yeah,
Which
his character was based on
Stu Hart.
Stu Hart. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
So that which you can tell just the way they did the character. It's very Stu
which
Hart.
I guess they originally cast Jack Palance in that role,
Wow.
and
I
he
don't
may
know
have
who that
passed
is.
away or something, or passed on it, or
Oh.
maybe he just wasn't in the best health. But Martin Landau kills that. He's such a great character actor.
I did like the blooper where Oliver Platt like actually
Oh, accidentally
Randy
hits.
Savage in
Yeah,
the face.
Yeah.
that's a good one. He's like, oh,
He's like,
the
oh
look
my
on his
God.
face. It's gonna tear his head off.
He's like, I'm gonna die. Like,
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
it's a cute movie.
It is.
Okay.
Like-
So did you enjoy it somewhat?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Cool.
it's not the best, but it's
Well,
cute.
yeah.
Like they're it feels it's so steeped in the era.
It is.
Like just the And it's kind of nice, like a little throwback to when you could just have a goofy, weird comedy
Right.
about wrestling,
Yeah.
and it works kind of.
I-
And
I think some of its charm is where it did pull in some like actual things and put it into the movie, like Stu Hart and the whole Jimmy King's fall was of the screw job of Montreal,
okay,
which is
I've never heard it.
I don't know what this
referred to
is.
as that.
huh?
We can't mention that on the
Screwjob of
podcast.
Montreal.
Can I
Aaron.
say screw job?
No, Aaron, you can't say that on the
The
podcast.
infamous,
Say
the
that.
infamous Montreal screw job. What have you heard it as? That's what I've always heard it as.
Well,
I
you
had-
called it the screw job of Montreal.
Oh, yeah, that might be different. Okay, the Montreal screw job. But anyways, it kind of happened in the same way. The wrestler didn't know that he was going to be overthrown.
Oh,
So that Jimmy King thing is very, very like realistic.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of little Easter eggs for
Yeah.
if you're a fan of wrestling.
Yeah, I think that's what makes this one really fun.
Yeah.
For me.
I mean, the cast is. I mean, it's clearly they're having fun,
Yeah.
and the wrestlers I think are also enjoying themselves. And I don't know. I liked the stuff with his dad too. I thought that was really funny.
Oh,
With,
the cop.
The
yeah.
cop.
Those two
Yeah.
sisters, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they never wear
The
anything.
gun all the time.
And they never wear anything else.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
They're,
sure.
they're always in their uniform and hat.
Are-
Just
always
even when
ready
they're
to
eating
go.
dinner, which looks like a Thanksgiving dinner, like pecan pie,
Yeah.
and it's like every day is Thanksgiving or
If
something
it's
for them.
Thanksgiving,
and
everyone's in
they're
full
always in their
uniform.
uniform. They probably sleep in their uniform.
I would say they do.
Yeah, so it's just, I mean, it really is kind of just like a live action cartoon.
Yeah.
And I think that's where its appeal lies.
There is no true depth to this. Like there's which I think is true of both the movies we're gonna talk about. Like there's little moments with the family. There's a little bit here or there, but it's
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 a
good-
it's a
it's good
fanboy
fun.
movie. It's a wrestling fanboy.
It is
good fun.
and I think every once in a while a good, just funny movie is good to have. Like I said, when I watched this, it was just so nice because I just thoroughly enjoyed the whole thing,
This just brought me joy.
and I didn't have to think about it or anything. It was just in my face.
It was a
funny.
silly comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, there were so many poop jokes.
So many.
Oh my gosh! Like,
Yeah, they
When
really
they
pull
crash.
one out of Mallrats too. Like,
Oh,
it gives
yeah,
him like the stink palm in the
Yep.
beginning.
Yeah, that's what
Um,
we were talking about that, and you said
Yeah.
that I didn't realize it was a Mallrats thing, but
Mhm.
yeah, that's
Well,
one of my favorites.
I mean, I don't know if it's exclusive to Mallrats. I don't think
No.
Mallrats
Yeah.
invented it,
Okay,
but
I don't- Mallrats came first, though, right?
yeah, Mallrats was 95.
I did love the singing nuns,
Oh yeah,
and then apparently the
I
fucking
had
nuns.
forgot about that.
That was stupid and fun. My favorite joke, I'm not gonna repeat on the podcast. Someone else can maybe, but was him heckling Diamond Dallas Page, and was like, a diamond upside down, is it?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of like,
there's a lot of like very edgy, like not edgy, but like on the edge of what you
For
would see
PG-13,
today.
I
For
guess.
PG-13,
Yeah.
like humor, right?
Yeah.
So like it was fun.
I also had forgot and was super excited when she opened the door that Caroline Ray
Oh yeah, it's his
is
Yeah.
is the
ex-wife.
king's wife.
she
yeah.
was great in that
Mhm.
role.
She is, which I've always loved her.
I
I
go-
think
yeah.
she's
I
hilarious.
was just like, it's one of the ants.
Yeah.
Like, I
From
was so
Sabrina.
excited.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This
I
is
mean, I think that's where most people know her from, but
And
she
the
did. I thought she was great in that role.
and the son being the masked fighter at this was
Yeah.
so wrestling. Like that felt like wrestling. Like, oh my gosh, new to never being on the stage before ever. He's betrayed by his son.
Which
It's
Right.
just,
they
like
they
very
did that arc in wrestling with
Yeah.
Ric
Oh,
Flair
yeah.
and his
Yeah.
son.
Yeah.
And it's
Um,
like that stuff is so fun. That's
Well,
why
and then
wrestling's fun.
I think recently they've done stuff kind of like it with like Rey Mysterio and Dominic,
yeah.
which also Rey is in this as unmasked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
He's the little guy with blonde hair
Yeah.
wrestling.
Okay.
Like in the opening match, I
Yeah.
think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or like the first when they go to
One of the
When
first,
they
yeah.
go to the-
when they go to it,
yeah.
that first match they're watching, that's Rey Mysterio. Just
Without his mask.
he,
But he was
in that little
wrestling without
period
his mask
time.
yeah.
Yeah, he went a little period of time in WCW as unmasked.
And his son is such a scumbag. Like he's, I don't know. I don't think he is in real life. But man, he's a good heel. He's so
Who?
punchable. Dominic Mysterio.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Dominic Mysterio's so punchable. He's
Yeah.
a good heel. Right now.
I really enjoyed the Amit Zappa. He played the convenience store worker at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What else is he in? Because he looks so
He looks very
familiar.
familiar.
He's been in a bunch of stuff, but
Does he play like small roles mostly?
yeah, he's also in a band. Him and his brother.
Oh, okay.
Their dad's Frank Zappa.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I like seeing Rose McGowan. I get she's just
I had to look her up. I was like, why does she look so familiar?
Are you serious?
Yes.
Scream.
I know. But that's why she looks so familiar. Listen,
I thought that was one of the
sometimes I
reasons
can't
you liked
place-
the movie because it's like a little Scream reunion.
Yeah.
No, but I was really excited about it once I found that out.
Once you figured it out.
Yep.
She's great. I mean, I like.
Okay.
Listen,
I'm
I'm
okay.
just going to put this out there that before this podcast, I didn't really
did not
pay attention to
to
who
much of
was in
anything.
Who
movies.
was in movies?
And when I saw her, she's got dark hair in this movie, and that threw me off. I was like, man, I know that girl.
Yeah, she had blonde hair and Scream. Didn't she?
Yeah. But I am glad that you guys didn't hate it.
No, it was great.
No, it was okay.
I enjoyed Sting.
Oh yeah, Sting coming in at the end. The Sting when I was a kid was probably my favorite.
Yeah.
In his pre-Crow era,
Mm-hmm.
I hated it when he did that. When he changed to like the white makeup,
yeah.
the Crow makeup, basically.
Yeah.
What?
I was like, "What are you? You're not Sting. You're some Crow ripoff."
Yeah.
You mean like what he had?
Although
here?
that's, I mean,
That's what he's
became
known for.
pretty
right?
famous.
Yeah.
That's
I know that's
Yeah.
yeah, but like in my head, it's like it's pre
right.
that is what I
You're
think.
thinking
it was.
like Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
eras.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah, like
When he had like the scorpion on his pants.
yeah, with the scorpion.
Have the
Because I'm pretty sure they did like a
Mhm.
they came to the Civic Center one year
Mhm.
and I saw him live. I got to see
Oh,
Sting
that's
live.
nice. Oh, that's
it was
cool.
really cool.
That's cool.
So yeah, there's a scorpion on the pants and everything, and but yeah, him coming in at the end with like the baseball bat or something.
Yeah, and
that,
he
that was
flies
cool.
in, which he did there for
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah,
And he was one of the only guys that like held out whenever WCW went under,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and WWE absorbed them. Like he didn't come.
He didn't appear for a long time. Yeah.
Mm.
He was a big WCW guy.
This is
Yeah, it was a fun
I
little
guess
movie.
that's
Yeah.
our Ready to Rumble.
It was
I'm
great.
glad you guys enjoyed it. I love it.
the-
I think I'm gonna probably watch it again soon.
It's an easy watch.
I enjoyed it so much.
That
this time.
might join the rotation of things that just go on in the background
Yeah.
at our house.
I-
I
it
really
might for a little bit
truly
for me.
enjoyed it.
But I guess we'll move on to the other type of wrestling, which is arm wrestling or arm
The
wrestling.
true form of wrestling.
Arm wrestling.
Oh yeah. And we will go into Over the Top.
Yeah, so like Over the Top was probably like I watched it a lot when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably my first Stallone movie, so it would have been pre. I probably hadn't even seen Rocky
It's
or
a fun
Rambo.
Stallone one.
Mm-hmm.
It is. So it's like I don't know. I hold a special little place in my heart
Yeah.
for this one.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, yeah, it's like they're just blatantly trying to like copy Rocky,
Yeah.
but we had like a little bit more family drama
Uh-huh.
and like a road trip.
Mhm.
Which fun fact,
Wizard.
the Wizard, the truck is in the Wizard.
Really?
Oh
Hawk-
really?
The Hawk Trucking is in the Wizard. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Because it is the same movie.
That's amazing.
Huh. Was the Wizard that wasn't also canon, was it?
No, it wasn't canon. It was a couple years later, but for whatever reason, yeah, it's there in the Wizard.
Because it's the same
Huh.
plot.
That's interesting.
Because the Wizard was like, we're going to rip
Yeah,
off
I mean,
the
I'm
plot
sure
of
that
this
was just
movie
like
and we're
a-
going to throw this in here.
That was a truck they rented for the movie from a
Yeah.
company
Yeah.
that like rents, truck vehicles, and so we're like, yeah, we got this one.
Yeah.
Somebody's like, I
They're
met
like-
somebody behind the scenes like, there's a big over the top fan who's like, oh, we should get the Hawk Trucking truck.
Yeah.
But
So
No.
what kind of truck driver was he? You think? Like, because he didn't have a sleeper cab in that thing, and
no, it's like they're just gonna go sleep. They're just gonna like,
Yeah, I thought that too. Exactly when he was like, "You can lean on my shoulder," I was like, "You ain't got a bed? You don't have a
What is this?
You just sleep in your chair?"
is he just like tow cars, maybe? Or it looked
I
like
don't know. He had a trailer at one
Yeah,
point
and
that
then
it magically disappeared.
I think it was in the beginning,
Yeah.
and I think maybe,
And
they,
at
they,
the
they,
end,
they pick
too.
up they pick up a
Yeah.
a container.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when the boy's driving, it's
Yeah.
not a container.
So it's a canon film. which they're a notorious production company from the 80s. That's in the really go back to like the 60s and 70s, but they kind of hit their peak in the 80s with like the Death Wish sequels and Masters of the Universe.
I didn't realize they were Death Wish.
Yeah, they did
seen
Death Wish
those,
2, 3,
all those.
4,
Cobra.
Cobra.
Yeah, all kinds of Chuck Norris. Yeah,
bunch,
that's
basically anything in the 80s with Chuck Norris, Charles Bronson,
Bronson.
they were in that business.
Yeah.
So much so in that there's a great documentary called Electric Boogaloo about Cannon, and one of the people who worked in the office was like they had a pile. They had the 2 Chuck piles, one for Chuck Norris and one for Chuck Bronson. So it's like this is more of a Chuck Norris one. This one's
Charles Bronson.
Charles
wow.
Bronson.
Yeah.
So they got started making like really low budget movies, indie like horror movies, which were very easy to sell, didn't cost much, and so they didn't have to perform, make like a lot of money. They could sell theatrical rights, foreign rights, and they'd be fine.
Yeah.
But basically, everything is to finance the next 10 movies. They
Right.
were making dozens of movies a year.
Wow.
When like your Warner Brothers, Paramount, like they're maybe making like 10 movies a year.
Right.
So it's just that they were able to produce that many movies is staggering. And it eventually all crumbled. And Sylvester Stallone is part of the problem.
He was paid $12 million for that movie.
Yeah. So they signed an
Wow.
absurd contract. It was basically is a combination of Stallone, Masters of the Universe, and Superman 4. So they wanted to like get in the business of making bigger movies.
Right.
So they signed Sylvester Stallone, who at this point this would have been coming off the immortal year when he ended the Cold War, 1985, with Rocky 4 and Rambo 2. Both of those movies, I think, collectively made half a billion dollars.
Yeah.
In 1985.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So he was pretty much the biggest movie star in the world at that point.
Yeah.
And they signed him. I mean, the figure ranges a lot, but like probably in the area of $20 million for I think 3 movies. That's what they signed him on for, and that pretty much changed the industry. And so Arnold sees that, and all these other actors
Right.
see that, and like Stallone's getting like $8 million for this movie.
Yeah.
What are you doing for me, agent? Like,
Yeah.
get me money. Get like
Make it happen.
So it kind of like, they didn't mean to, but they kind of created that era of big paychecks for the actors.
Yeah.
But anyway, all the movies tanked.
Right.
They sunk a lot of money. I mean, most of the money goes to Stallone's paycheck because there's not a lot on screen.
Right.
I mean, this is a lot. It's like, not that you can't get a lot of production value out of nature,
Yeah.
Right,
just
yeah.
the scenery. And they clearly spent most of the money on the match at the end, which they had like.
Right.
It sounds like what I was reading is they had built up, like over a course of a year, like kind of or worked with an arm wrestling federation or something to like make this match happen, because the match at the end is a real match.
Right.
And they just filmed Stallone stuff afterwards. This and Masters of the Universe, Superman 4, the reason that Canon Films failed, and they eventually went bankrupt. And fun fact is they both made then the two guys at the head of the Canon broke apart and created separate production companies. Both of them made dance movies, and they kept competing with each other to they were lambada movies, both the same dance too,
Such
Yeah.
a switch.
and they both came out the same day. That's how competitive they were.
That's wild.
Weren't they like brothers or cousins or something?
were
The two
cousins, I think, yeah.
Two Israeli guys, weren't they?
Yeah.
Menachem Golan and I can't remember his first name. Globus is the
Yeah.
That's so funny.
But yeah, it's like you can't make this stuff up. And so yeah, this is the beginning of the end for Canon. It's really hitting. Stallone got a lot of money, but his career was tanking.
Yeah.
He hit so high with Rocky with like 1985,
Yeah.
and then it just
What
went
I read
downhill.
is like he doesn't really associate himself with this movie, other than
Yeah,
He
he
doesn't like it.
yeah.
I think he
Yeah.
doesn't
Doesn't
like
like
it,
the
but I
final
also
movie.
read that he was like he's embarrassed by how much he made and how poorly the movie did.
Yeah, well, his thing when he took the paycheck was like, sure, nobody will see it. You know?
Yeah.
But I think I don't know, I think the movie works. Like, is it very melodramatic and cheesy? yeah, but it's like it's coming out of like the cheesiest era
Right.
of film ever, so it's just like part and parcel with what you're, and it's hard to believe like Stallone is like, because I mean it's like so much up his alley, his like worldview of at this point anyway, of like work hard and if you do this and do that like then good things will happen to you and you just want like family,
Yeah.
The world doesn't meet you halfway.
More doesn't meet you halfway. And man, like the songs, the soundtrack is just like
Kenny Loggins,
Sammy Hagar.
Yeah.
Like it's like
I do like the Sammy Hagar music video. That's just like
I need to watch that.
oh he arm wrestles Stallone at the end.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
How have I not seen this? I'm gonna watch that.
It's mostly scenes from the movie, but the end is him arm wrestling Stallone.
I always liked it when they did like a movie music video
Oh,
and then the
yeah.
actor comes
Yeah,
in. Like there's a great one for Terminator 2, the Guns N' Roses song, and Arnold's like in the crowd in the audience at the concert, and he's like moving through, and he's in full Terminator
that's cool.
garb,
That's awesome.
and then I think he confronts Axl Rose at the end of the music video. I don't know.
I do miss that. I feel like we could do
We
with a
just
couple
don't-
of those that weren't lame.
Yeah,
We just don't do stuff like that anymore.
It's,
I mean, even like Twister, the Shania Twain song from Twister, the video for it, she's like on the porch of the house.
yeah,
Like the actors aren't in it, but it's the scenery from Twister.
we need more like "Kiss from a Rose,"
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
like where it's just like full on. This is Batman song.
Right.
Yeah.
This is associated with this movie.
It's
But-
better marketing that way for sure. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it works both ways. You sell the
Yeah.
song, and just
Yeah.
it's a whole package. So
Well, there
I
used to
feel like
be-
I've
there used
talked
to
a
be
lot.
soundtracks and stuff too. And like, we don't
Yeah,
have
I
that
mean,
anymore.
I miss like having a good like theme
Yeah.
song for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, it really does like, you can work it into the score as well, like Titanic or something, where it's like it's integral to the
Scream
movie.
has Right
God.
Red Hand,
Everything goes back to like 3 different movies: Scream, Twister, and
Crossroads.
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 Like, it's like
All
all the
roads
like
lead to
the movie
Crossroads.
music videos, and it goes back to Twister, and I'm like, Twister. I remember the Sammy Hagar song. But
Aaron's over here like, I know 3 things.
I'm not messing. I mean, I'm
You are.
I
messing
know
with him,
3
it's
movies,
fine.
and I'm gonna talk like an expert about them.
I drive truck. I break arms. Arm wrestle.
So I've talked a lot, and I have some other things to say about Over the Top, but I'll let you guys talk for.
Was I the only one that hadn't seen this movie?
I think so.
Oh, okay. So I watched it, of course. I watched it with my parents, and I can't lie, I did fall asleep for a couple seconds. But I didn't miss anything.
Okay.
That's fair.
But yeah, just some parts you could fall asleep for a couple seconds, and it was fine. But I thought this was fun.
It's fun.
I thought this was fun.
Yeah.
It is cheesy and in a funny way. You can tell it's an 80s movie, and
What gave it away?
Give it away.
and it's just fun. I think it was easy to watch.
Oh yeah, it's so easy to watch. Like
You could easily throw that on the background too.
I often throw Over the Top on in
Yeah.
the background when I'm like doing stuff.
It's so good.
It
yeah,
is.
I mean, I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
It's a nice little road trip with his son, and I mean, it was simple.
It's like even though it's like very cheesy and melodramatic, you know where it's going.
Yeah.
It still like works, I think.
Mhm.
Like it's still I think because it's not complicated.
yeah,
know.
It's like wholesome. even.
right.
Like I think that's appealing,
Yeah.
especially now. I mean, maybe it was just too much cheese back then, but I think now it's just like this is like a fun throwback.
Yeah.
I think we like seeing something a little more innocent now. I think that's
Yeah.
one of the appeals of Ready to Rumble. Also, was
Yeah.
like
See?
there's something sweet there.
Two good movies with no nudity, unnecessary
Jesus
nudity
Christ.
at all.
No unnecessary.
Y'all are
at
welcome.
all.
Well, there is some nudity in Ready to Rumble.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
Scott Kahn's butt.
Oh, yeah. That's
I
true.
would call that unnecessary.
I would call that unnecessary. Also,
I guess that is unnecessary.
It took me forever to figure out where I knew Scott Conn from, and it's that I'd watched a lot of Hawaii Five-0 when
I was going
a
to say, like, he was
teenager.
on like a.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say I don't know why I knew it. I probably just know him from Ready to Rumble. Actually, that's probably why he looked familiar to me.
Well, it's one of the 3 movies you've seen. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's one of the 3 movies you've seen.
It was odd too, because isn't Arquette like a generational actor as well?
Mm-hmm.
Like his parents or something.
well, I mean, I think he's Rosanna Arquette's
Rosanna Arquette.
brother and Patricia Arquette, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like they're all siblings.
yeah. I know they're siblings.
I
I don't
think-
know if their parents were.
But then
Yeah.
Scott Collins' dad is James.
James
Collins?
Caan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I need y'all to bear with me for a couple seconds. Okay, so in this movie, obviously, when things get serious, Stallone's character who's
Flips the hat.
flips the hat, right? Okay, so about when was this? 1987. 13 years later, one of the most famous anime characters ever in America, also when things get serious, flips his hat. Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. And I don't know if it was influenced by this, but I like to think it was.
I hope it was.
Oh, you can't discount Over the Top's reach
Right.
globally.
And these kind of stupid action movies are actually really big in Japan.
Yeah, I mean,
they were a
actually,
huge deal. So like
So
I
it's
think it's
possible.
very possible that the reason that when Ash Ketchum's about to like throw down in a Pokemon battle, his hat flips around, goes back to over the top.
I mean, it's the first thing I think about when I think about this movie.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
putting on the hat backwards.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
like it's a very similar, like just very fluidly around to the back.
I feel like that's
And-
probably something you did a lot growing up.
no, I
when-
would try
when
to
stuff
do
got
like
serious.
the
The
hand
over the
thing.
top
okay.
thing. Yeah.
I feel like that's an awkward position for your hand, and
Yeah, I
don't know
never
how
really
that
understood it, but it's like
strengthens
that's cool because it's got to work.
it. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would try it.
Well, that's how you know he's gonna win the match.
That's
Like,
when
Yeah.
he
Oh,
goes
yeah.
over the
moves the arm
top.
a little bit, the hand a little bit.
I've always wondered, like, is that a legal move? Or in arm wrestling, is that
I don't think so.
it's like, what can we do to set him apart as an arm wrestler? And it's like, what if we just awkwardly have him twist his arm, twist
Yeah.
his wrist up?
It's
To a
yeah.
position that looks like you'd have no power.
It's
Yeah.
it's like the fingers go over the
Over the
thumb
top?
grip. Yeah, over
Yeah.
the top. Yeah, we've made that joke 3 times in 2 minutes. But like,
So I will say this movie, it still works.
Oh yeah.
So I watched it with my 2 stepchildren
Mm-hmm.
who wanted to arm wrestle about halfway through the movie.
Nice.
Hey,
And they got really into it. They really, not just the arm wrestling, but they got really into the movie. And it's like, it was very like, oh, this movie still works.
Yeah.
And immediately afterwards, they wanted to arm wrestle.
That's great.
Hey,
And it was a lot of fun.
I think that's appropriate. I also think that's the reaction of at like every. Obviously, this movie was not something that I
Well-
was shown as a child, but that every
Arm
boy
wrestling,
I know who grew up with it.
yeah. Arm wrestling is a thing when you're like 10 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. My best friend still likes to arm wrestle.
Does he?
If he's been out.
So,
Like,
just, like, there was a fun fact I was reading. So I'll probably throw the picture up in the YouTube video too.
Oh.
So the guy that plays the bad guy, the
mhm.
guy that he's got to arm wrestle,
That guy was huge.
That's a
he
big.
he is a
man.
big boy.
He's a big man.
Rick
That's a big
Zumwalt.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He plays Bob Hurley, Bull Hurley.
He
And
was
over the
also
top.
the third option for
He
the
was the
rival.
third option. Do you guys want to see the first who they
Yeah.
originally wanted?
Yeah.
But they were like, this guy will make Stallone look tiny.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Wow.
That is a big man.
He is a big man.
That guy is about the size of Stallone too.
Look how
probably.
big his head is compared to the bodies of the other people.
And don't discount how big Stallone was in the movie.
No,
Like,
he's a big man.
I mean, but Stallone's 5'7".
yeah.
Well, yeah.
He's
He
not,
always
like-
looks
Is
big.
that man like
though.
Andre the Giant size?
His name is he was an arm wrestling world champion, Cleve
I'd
Dean.
say.
Mhm.
And
His arm weighs more than I do.
yeah, I mean his arm's bigger than most people's legs.
That's right. Yeah.
That's a giant.
But yeah, so
Wow.
so that was like the original. I guess they wanted him.
Yeah.
But they were like, Stallone's gonna look like he's 6.
Yeah.
So let's
Right.
go with someone who's big, but a little bit more like reasonably. I mean, the guy that Rick Zumwalt is still huge. He was actually in
Yeah.
Batman Returns. He's the guy that Batman puts the detonator on.
Oh,
and
yeah.
just like hits him and he goes boom. So between that and Over the Top, he was an integral part of my childhood.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
But I just thought that was interesting. I looked up a picture of him, and it's just like this
He's massive.
That is.
I mean,
Andre the Giant
almost
kind of
looks
guy.
fake.
Do we have like a weight, like not like a weigh-in, but like do we have stats on this man? Like how tall is he?
do they have weight classes in arm wrestling? Like, you think they would?
He was
Right.
6'7"
Okay, yeah.
and anywhere between, I guess at his height, 590 pounds.
Wow.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a big guy.
man.
That's a lot of weight behind that arm.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
weight.
Phew.
Oof.
Well, I mean, his lowest was 415, so even
Oh wow,
his-
that's
his
that's still a lot, but that's also a big difference.
Yeah.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
guess maybe like when he got older, I saw some pictures like when he got older. I guess he lost some weight, but
Yeah, being
Yeah.
when he was like a world champion, I'm guessing he was close to 600 pounds.
Probably so.
being 6'7", that's. I mean, you're a big guy, and you're what 6'4". That's
Yeah, so I mean, like,
3 extra inch, like
And you know, another 300 pounds,
yeah,
300 plus pounds, and I'm like, that
That's
is
big guy.
that is a big dude.
that's a
Yeah.
big dude.
No wonder he was champion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wouldn't even want. I'd be like, no, thank you.
I don't, you're gonna break
nope.
my arm. I don't want it.
yeah. I mean, you walk into
I
like,
get to the level where I have to wrestle him, and I'm just like, oh, I lose.
well, it's like you go to arm wrestle and his hand just swallows your hand.
Right.
Yeah,
It's like,
Yeah. I
Okay.
wouldn't even be able to.
it's
grip
like
around his
arm
hand.
wrestling with your dad as a little kid.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's just like, oh, this is not.
Did this bother you guys? It bothered me throughout the movie when they kept calling him Hawks.
yeah,
It's like he even called himself Hawks at one point. Like
Hawks.
when he was at the grandfather's house and
Yeah.
drove his truck into the house basically.
Yeah.
Like I heard that a million times in that movie. People just kept on calling him Hawks.
I
it's
thought.
Hawk.
It's Hawk.
It's hot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought that was his last name.
I don't know.
I don't know.
He has one of the coolest names ever though.
Lincoln Hawk.
Lincoln.
Yes,
Oh, so his
Oh my
name's like
God.
Hawks.
It's not Hawks.
it's Hawk.
It's
Lincoln
Hawk.
Hawk.
Oh, the guy screaming in pain at the tournament is because his arm actually.
Oh no,
was
yeah, that's
Yeah,
real.
that's
That is
real.
that is real footage.
Yeah.
You can see his arm just
Yeah.
dislocate.
I didn't realize
elbow,
it
I
was
think.
real.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
so yeah, I mean the arm wrestling competition is real at the
Yeah.
end. So like pretty much everything you're seeing that's not Stallone and Rick Zumwalt is
Mhm.
footage from the actual competition that they
Okay.
had. So they had like several regionals and even in the world international, like in Europe and
Mhm.
Asia, to get people like they treat it like this is a real arm wrestling
Yeah.
championship. And
That's wild that they use that
It
raw
changed
footage
the
like that.
sport forever. Like now,
S-
that's what. Now
Stallone?
this is what they look. No, like this movie changed. I mean, arm wrestling championships were not as big of a deal until Over the Top came along, and now they pour a ton of money into
Yeah.
like their end of the.
yeah, it is. I mean,
Yeah.
that and like slap fighting.
Yeah.
Why was the grand prize
Never
a truck?
understand that.
Like
Well, because so there's different truckers. I'm pretty sure this is in the trivia, but there's different. Like this was the truckers division.
Mm-hmm.
oh.
So there's like different divisions, I guess, of the arm wrestling
Yeah.
federation.
Yeah,
Uh,
because he was always arm wrestling truckers
Yeah.
throughout the movie.
I just didn't. I
So
didn't
I like
know
the-
those two went together.
I just thought it was a trucking thing. I don't.
I just
know.
like this idea that like
who
there's
else
this
has
like
that Tom.
like almost like a fight club for truckers.
Right.
Where they
yeah.
and arm wrestle.
yeah, it is.
That's
Yeah.
kind of what I thought it was.
And it's just like they just like because they'll imagine see each other on the road or
Yeah.
stop at a restaurant or bar and just like eye each other across the room and they're just like let's do this.
Well, they do. That one guy's like, I want to fight you now, and he's like, wait till Vegas.
Yeah.
And so you would be. I mean, he was running into his opponents and
Yeah.
stuff, which is wild.
That's crazy. I can't.
Yeah, the first guy he fights, he's got like very curly blonde hair, I think.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I forget his name.
He had wrestler vibes.
Yeah, he is like so
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah.
Well, the curly blonde hair. I think coming off watching Ready to Rumble, that was apparently the unit. Like that's Sting and Diamond Dallas, or not Sting.
Sid Vicious.
Sid Vicious and Diamond Dallas Page, and then we go into this, and it's the same hair.
Yeah.
Terry Funk was in the movie. I didn't
Yeah.
notice him.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
the only wrestler I picked up on. But.
It said something about there were a couple others that they flew in. I don't know. I read it though. It happened.
Big guys.
I literally just read it. But anyways, so I guess there were some others for some reason.
And why are like all arm wrestlers like bullies? Like they including the kids when
Oh,
the kid
yeah.
wrestled. Like they're all just mean spirited.
I don't know, man.
Oh, right here.
Oh.
The production company flew professional wrestlers Manny Fernandez and Sion Valley,
AKA the Barbarian.
the Barbarian.
Okay.
Yeah.
The story following where they flew them out there. The wrestlers had given money for food, but instead they decided to go to a bar for drinks. According to Fernandez, the Barbarian got so drunk that after a patron sold it to him, he smashed his and Manny's mugs of beer over his own forehead, then laughed as blood poured down his face. The patrons were so shocked they called the police, who arrested Sion and put him in jail overnight.
So that sounds like a wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds legit.
That's especially in the 80s. That sounds very legit.
It's like,
Which is why this is a little off topic, but wrestling biographies are so interesting to
Oh
me
fun.
yeah.
So
because they do so much, and I don't know.
Well, they're on the
They
road
see
so much, and like they're
yeah. I could only
they're-
imagine.
not to
and
mention,
inherently like wild people to be like
Yeah.
a little bit, you know.
Well, I think you have to put your
Yeah.
body on the line.
not to mix our movies, but going back to Ready to Rumble, I felt like the Jimmy King actual life outside of his character was so believable.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like he, the fame got to him. He left his family. He stole his like parents' camper van. He was kind of not a great guy outside
Yeah.
of his like.
I mean, some of that feels like
Yeah.
I was watching there was like Ric Flair documentary
Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
the
on
same thing.
Yeah.
Netflix, I think, which I watched was really good, and it's like, man, he was a piece of work.
Yeah, not a
Mhm.
good guy.
But I mean, at the same time, it's like you can't help. He's so damn charismatic and
Mhm.
Yeah.
funny. I mean, like that. I guess that's just the life,
Yeah.
especially back
Right.
then. Was like you're just on the road.
I feel like that's what it would be to be a arm wrestling trucker as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you are on the road a lot.
I mean,
I
I
don't
want to
think it's
read.
quite as like glamorous, and women are.
I
throwing
want to
themselves at
read
you.
that biography, the arm wrestling.
You want to read the fictional Lincoln Hawk?
Yeah,
Lincoln Hawk's
yeah,
biography.
yeah.
Apparently.
That's what I want.
I wanted that damn truck when I was a kid. I thought that was the coolest truck. I was like, I have no intention of being a trucker, but that is cool.
The Hawk
It's
one
just
or
like
the one he.
Either
is?
one, they were both cool.
Yeah.
I always like big, like it was like rusty trucks or something like
Yeah.
the one from like Steven Spielberg's Duel. Like they have so much personality. I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. I guess when you're a small kid and you're just like, that's shiny.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, and they're bigger
yeah.
bigger than life type
Yeah.
vehicles.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna purchase a Lincoln Hawk action figure.
Do they make
They did-
Yes.
they did make those.
My God.
yes.
Their arm
Like
moves like, they
vintage?
arm wrestle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
vintage?
Yeah.
Or
Vintage.
Vintage.
When the movie came out, they
Wow.
released them.
Oh, that's
I didn't know they made action figures.
Yeah.
They had,
That's
like, a
amazing. Do
little
they
thing
have
at the back.
action?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His arm moves.
Oh, did
Arm
you
wrestles.
just say that?
Does his hat twist?
Okay.
That would have been. The
No.
His hat twist.
Does the
That
hat
would
come off? Can you?
I don't think so.
Oh,
That's
McFarlane
a
Toys.
missed
Get on that.
opportunity for
It's,
sure.
it's probably just backwards.
I mean, look it up. It's not the greatest looking action figure.
I don't think. It is.
I
Yeah, it
wasn't
is.
expecting.
I'm
much.
sure there's like, we got some reject GI Joes.
Yeah.
Can we add like a rubber band to the
He doesn't
arm?
look like Sylvester Stallone at all.
At all. Oh, God.
Has like blonde hair.
That's so funny.
Why is he wearing camo?
Just re-
We needed.
Yeah, but so I thought this movie was fun too. I thought overall this was a fun episode. I thought.
Yeah, it was. But I had a lot of fun with both of them,
Yeah,
especially Over the Top. It was a lot of fun to show the kids
yeah,
that one. And
yeah, it's definitely a movie I go back to. Like, I probably watch Over the Top once every few years or so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see me watching both of these again soon.
yeah.
Honestly, just because they were fun.
Well, it's also like they're great movies. I mean, especially Over the Top to just like if nobody's ever seen it,
Mm-hmm.
just to show it to them. Because it's like a time portal back
Yeah.
to 1987. So
Yeah,
like the music, the fashion,
Mhm.
like those kids that he's wrestling at the arcade, which arm wrestling at the arcade in and of itself is such a like,
Yeah,
Aw.
nostalgic.
that
Yeah,
he's
There's
wearing
a
like
Super
this.
Mario Brothers arcade
Yeah,
game.
Kevin
back in
noticed
the
that.
Ah,
It's like they're Mario Brothers. It's like, which one is it? And he's like, that's the original.
aw.
But yeah, like the kid wearing like I think he's got spikes on his wrists.
Mhm.
And stuff.
Yeah.
It's like
Feels
you're-
right, right?
Bleach blonde hair. And,
Yeah, like the Canon had a way of like coming close to mimicking American culture, but there being something off about they didn't quite get it.
Yeah.
And so they exist in this unique, like, alternate universe of American filmmaking.
It is a nice little time capsule.
It is. It is.
I feel the same way about the movie The Wizard. Like, it's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
it's so 80s.
It is.
Um,
These are very
Power
similar.
glove.
movies.
Yeah, it's the
It sounds
same,
like-
same plot.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty
Just
much.
replace arm wrestling with the
Yeah.
power glove.
And
glove.
yeah,
And bonding with your child with somebody's dead. Like,
yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
instead. So, on a lighter note, the entire over-the-top toy collection came
my
with 6 action figures: Lincoln Hawk,
Wow.
Bob Bill Hurley, John Grizzly. But it says Lincoln Hawks.
Does it?
On the
oh my
back.
gosh.
John
Like on the
Iceman
card?
Walker, John Golden Boy Brinzik, and Cleve Armbender Dean.
Why is the guy who's not in the movie have an action figure?
Because he was, I don't know.
Which one? That guy?
The big
The
guy.
big guy.
Yeah.
Like he's-
And his action figure is massive. I'll show you guys in a minute. An action figure mini table, a workout set that is like just for arm
Oh,
workouts,
that's great.
and a kid-sized arm wrestling table.
Is that legit?
It's legit. Here's the box.
Oh, wow. I'm going to have to get those.
That is amazing.
I had no idea these existed.
I'll send you the picture of the whole box in case you
Oh,
can
that
see
I
is
it.
found
amazing.
one here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Wow.
Now that's marketing.
That's awesome.
That's a pretty cool little mechanism on the back, like where it twists.
Yeah,
That's
so
how it
they
arm
can
wrestles.
Arm wrestle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's different.
I just like that they made one of Cleve Dean, who's not even in the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess he was just
I guess when
So
they were right,
synonymous
when they
with
were
it.
when they sold the rights to the toys, they were like, Cleve Dean's going to be in this movie.
possibly that.
Because that's
too.
what would happen is like something
Yeah.
like this, they would,
come out.
especially them, like they're selling the rights to anything they can make a penny
Exactly.
on, and they're selling it before they've even shot the movie. That they might have a poster, but that's hilarious. I
That's
had no
so
idea
good.
those existed. So that was Over the Top and
Ready
Ready to Rumble.
Yeah, and thanks
And-
Todd for joining us for another episode.
Thanks for having
I
me.
feel like anytime you come on, we always pick some pretty fun movies.
It's always a good time.
And it's a good time. It's
Yeah.
definitely a good time. So thanks for coming on again.
I always like
Thank
a
you.
Toddcast.
Yeah.
So we'll go back to our old format for the next couple episodes.
Probably, yeah.
And Todd, would you like to do the honors?
Sure.
Pick a movie.
Tell us who.
It's in our very fancy movie picking machine.
in our movie narrator.
Ooh, wow, this is
Mhm.
really nice.
Cost
Yeah.
us $3.50.
Horns.
Horns. Was that your?
The Joe Hill movie?
Oh, I picked that.
Daniel-
Yeah, I
Daniel
figured that was
Radcliffe.
your
Yeah.
pick.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
cool.
I couldn't remember. Have you seen it?
I have not.
Okay.
Although I've
I
heard- I've heard
and
it's
have you
good.
seen it?
I have seen it.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I thought one of you hadn't.
Um,
Okay. So next time, we'll do horns. Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
horns.
We'll watch horns.
we'll watch Horns. Thank you.
Read the book, too. Read the book. Watch the
Yeah,
movie.
I've read the book. The book is great.
The book
Joe
is
Hill
Is
is
the book good?
yeah, it's
I didn't know it was a book.
so good. Yeah, it's
Okay.
Joe Hill, which is Stephen King's son.
Mm.
It is a really good book.
It's the only book I've ever read by him, and I loved it.
Really?
That was great.
Okay.
Nosferatu by him is really good as well, which they ended up
Made
turning
it.
into a TV series that I haven't watched yet. But anyways, I guess
That's exciting.
that puts I don't know what I was going to say there. I was going to say cap,
What?
like referring to
The hat.
turning your hat backward. Anyways,
Let's
it's not
just
going to
sign
work.
off.
So anyways, yeah. Join us next time when we discuss horns. But until then, I'm Aaron,
I'm Josh.
I'm Toby.
and this is The Real Opposites.